Efren, and it's such a pleasure today to have Tim Schumm's new work at our Humboldt Street Gallery. And Tim, welcome. It's really been a pleasure this afternoon. And your new show is called 7 Miles, and we're curious, 7 miles where?
Yeah, this show is mostly from the 7 miles of coastline on East Sug Park. So I took over quite a number of months hiking it back and forth and garnering images from along the coastline, and getting mostly evening light or early morning light. So it was a big sprint out there to catch that few minutes of light, and then getting back to the studio and trying to do a quick rendering. And that's what this show is predominantly about.
Maybe you can talk to us a little bit about the one we're standing in front of, and where that is, and morning light?
That's mile 2. I have no idea. It's somewhere along there.
Okay.
It's like, it's never-ending imagery along the whole way. So, all I remember this day was quite a brisk day, where it was a lot of wind, and the imagery sort of shows that kind of movement of the air and water moving. Has a real what do you say, active feel to it. So yeah, and then the next one is more of a calm kind of scenario where the where the arbutus is usually a little further back into the woods, and so it has a little more of a calm effect. Yeah, it still gets a lot of that the light that comes at the low light that comes just before sunset, kind of giving everything more of a warm feel to it.
We're looking across there to.
Oh, that's the Olympic Mountains. Yeah, the whole mountain side. That's what you look at when you're hiking there the whole time, is the Olympics over on the U.S. side.
And should we come around and have a look at this piece, and you can tell us about this bluff?
Well, the trail undulates from being right down on the waterfront, going up to higher plains, and sometimes the trees are not so predominant there. There isn't so many of them, so it gives you kind of a vista. And so at sunset time, that whole area just glows, and it gives you a really great feeling to just look out over the water that's way below, and with the light just coming at the last few minutes.
Again, a lot of movement in that painting.
Yeah, you do. It seems to be a pretty active area. Most times when I hiked out there, it had lots of wind on the water.
What time of year were you mainly hiking?
Most of this is in the fall. You have the best color there, more of the warmer light and the warm colors in the foliage. Otherwise, it would be, the green-blue thing that we're mostly used to.
That's right. And we're kind of coming around to another spectacular piece right on the cliff. Mm-hmm. Which is that?
That's about midway, about 3.5 miles down. Obviously, from a much higher perspective. Yeah, again, very rarely do you see the arbutus so exposed, but in this particular area, the arbutus were standing out in a way that created a great composition, at least from my eye. So I thought I would give it a shot. That seems to work out for me anyway.
It's a fabulous piece. And same sort of perspective here?
Yeah, that's a little closer to the water, and in an area where you get a lot of the older forests still remaining. I think some of the upper section had been logged maybe 50, 60 years ago, but near the shoreline, the old ones are still remaining. So you have that kind of craggy feel to some of those trees, with mostly windblown and broken branches. Gives you that kind of old craggy tree feel.
It's fabulous. And we have a small piece on my desk here, which everybody's been admiring.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you could speak about this. We're not used to seeing you painting in a smaller format.
I was doing some plein air painting up north in Yukon, and this was a trip I did this summer, 300 kilometers along the Snake River. It'd take two weeks of canoeing along there, and that's about midway. And not long after that, it was a week of bad weather. So first week was good weather, and this is the last day of the good weather.
We're going back into the Sug coastline here with spectacular boulders and very craggy shoreline there.
Yeah, you get really a sense of the different kinds of rocks there. The boulders, glacial erratic, that probably 10,000 years ago, the glacier receded and left that boulder on the shore, and It just stuck out in a way that I thought would make an interesting composition. I guess you'll have to be the judge.
Right. It's a fabulous composition. I think we've just got a couple more here, Afran, as we go around the room. It's got quite a, is that a nighttime sky? But a very
it's a very last light. The sun just kind of peaks under the clouds at the last second, and then glows on the rock for about a minute and a half, and then it goes below the sunrise, so that's or the sunset, and that's the last light that you get to see.
Lovely golden glow there, and all the way around here, the same sort of feeling, isn't it? Same time of day.
Yeah, a little bit more of the high trails. It's actually a different composition of the invitation piece, an area I really liked because of the feel of it. And then further along you'll see another one just before what they call Cabin Point, where there's a lot of very crevassed rock features, which I thought the composition really draws you in a powerful way, along with the light just skimming the surface of the rocks. So it made for it was just interesting to me to try it out. And it seems, that's one of my favorite pieces. I think it's pretty successful.
That's a fabulous piece of the chasm, and I know there's many other people wanting to speak to you, so we may have to sign off here. Thank you so much, Afran.
Yeah, thank you.